it is time for the royal appointment. Oh, that was like a different octave. Oh, okay, she's warmed up. Headline: this tour is a moment for the history books. You can really tell that from the scintillating commentary in this royal appointment. Quote, there have been unexpected guests: an alpaca wearing a gold bow tie, 2 dogs wearing custom-made crowns, and a parrot called Caesar, who, with a little bit of persistence from Queen Camilla, eventually greeted her with a squawked, hello! I mean, considering what he could have squawked, you know, I'll take hello. Oh, but there have also been challenging moments. Quote, there was the senator who screamed about genocide and colonialism in the Parliament House. The article that statement is linked to is to a more straightforward sounding piece about what happened, and not this piece that was also written, where she referred to the Indigenous Australian senator as a heckler. Briefly back to this piece, which becomes more horrifying the more you read it. Besides only quoting Australian papers on this incident that are owned by Rupert Murdoch's company, it also says, quote, the sense in Australia is not that the argument itself is invalid. Most people commenting on the protests make a point of praising the country's democracy, which allows for such freedom. It's like, we gave you the freedom to protest. You now want follow through? No, the real problem is the way it was delivered. Because famously, the best and most effective protests never disrupt anything. Nothing about them draws in extra attention, because why would you want a spotlight on the issue that you're fighting for? What are we doing here? Have you ever heard of the Boston Tea Party? When someone, in this case a random member of the crowd outside of the Parliament House, calls a protest so rude, it's because they do find parts of the argument invalid. Last part, and then we're back to the royal appointment. It notes that even The Guardian, instinctively Republican-leaning, says that Thorpe's outburst will probably increase sympathy for the royals among Australians who are ambivalent about the monarchy but believe in at least being polite to guests. Yeah, I'm sure a straightforward observation that doesn't have any sort of goal in mind of trying to promote or remove the monarchy would be confusing to you. Back to the royal appointment and why Prince Harry's book Spare was so necessary. Not ready for where this goes next. Australia has historically been home to some of the royal family's happiest tours. What in the ever-loving... The Australian tour for Diana and Charles was so bad that there's an entire episode of The Crown dedicated to it. At this point, many members of the royal family, senior royals, were so annoyed that the attention and frenzy around Diana had not died down. And then to make matters worse, people were ecstatic to see her in Australia, not so much the Prince of Wales. Here's what Diana said of the tour, quote, I understood the jealousy, Charles, but I couldn't explain that I didn't ask for it. Because when you do exceptionally well on these tours and you're not a important principal, it's not exactly a happy time. You know, like how successful Harry and Meghan's tour was and how great it was that the Daily Beast wrote a piece in October 2018 titled, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are wildly popular. That could be a problem. Such happy times. This is why Prince Harry's book Spare, the authorized biographies of Charles and Diana in the 90s, are so important for the historical record. Because effectively, we're just seeing the media sanitize history in real time. If we didn't have Diana in her own words, or Prince Harry and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, speaking about their experience in a century, if all historians and researchers can find are articles like this one, that's a really different outlook on history. Well, that was fun.